shootout going on right now at 4:07 this Monday afternoon. I'll tell you why coming up in just a moment on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It is hour number 2 of the Matt Murphy Radio Show. Thank you for being with us. Whatever time you're able to give, we're certainly appreciative of it. We have 4 full hours, 240 full minutes every single Monday through Friday, and I appreciate you spending as many of those with us as you possibly can. And wherever you might be listening, give us the old thumbs up and like. You know, I look over there on the YouTube chat, and I got like 100 and some odd people watching right now, and only 31 have given us the old thumbs up. Apparently, y'all don't like Ken Weaver very much. Apparently, you don't. Because
or puppies.
Or puppies. Because, or
Temu Ken Weaver.
Temu, is that me? Oh, that's you. You're Temu Ken Weaver?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. My bad. How much you charging? Must not be much.
No, not much.
Yeah, because Ken Weaver says that you should like and subscribe, and it costs how much?
Absolutely nothing, boys.
And then Temu Ken Weaver says?
Nothing.
Yes.
Zilch.
Nada.
Not a hay penny.
More on that coming up, I think. I don't know. I'm losing my mind because I can't say 3 words without coughing, and I apologize. I got a cough today. I don't know what to do with it except just to plow through. Feel great. Feel better.
Call in with a remedy.
Don't tell me throat coat.
You just need a little hot tea and honey.
Okay, hot tea and honey. I'll take that. I wouldn't accept slippery elm throat coat. If you gave it to Dan Mandis uses it in the mornings. He's addicted to it. He drinks like 28 cups a day.
Does it have caffeine?
I don't think so. I don't think it does.
Is it tea?
Yeah, it's like it's slippery elm, Jackson.
What's that?
I don't really understand it. In any other day we would have he leaves boxes of it in here. Any other day we would have a box of it in here, and I could read it to you. But I think it's like a form of tea, but it's slippery elm is what it's called. Slippery elm throat coat, which is Dan Mandis's beverage of choice in the mornings.
Tea.
Is it a tea?
Yes, I have it in front of me. Oh, this is what he leaves. Okay, yeah, I've seen this.
Yeah, and he drinks on that, and he swears by it.
I think it might be good for you.
You think so?
I think you should try it.
Maybe get Mandis on the horn there. He's not doing enough. You know, he just had Red Eye Radio overnight from midnight until 5, and then he did his morning show from 5 until 9. And
then we had that 12-hour meeting.
And then we had a 12-hour meeting throughout the course of the day, so Mandis isn't doing anything else.
He's definitely asleep.
By the way, considering that he's asleep, y'all do me a favor, and tomorrow morning when Dan gets on the air, ask him about falling asleep in the Home Depot parking lot.
What?
He fell asleep in the Home Depot parking lot. And I think it was on purpose. And he woke up, and I think some amigos were messing around. I'm just reporting the news, fellas, as Ken Weaver would say.
I just report the news, boys.
So ask him about falling asleep in the Home Depot parking lot, which apparently was a thing earlier today. Okay, also a thing earlier today, and I want to tell you about it before we get back to your telephone calls, busy phone lines. On the look, if y'all can explain the No Kings deal to me, please do. I wish you would. I'm curious what you're asking for. If you are asking for a check on Donald Trump's abilities as the chief executive, as the head of the executive branch, as the president of the United States of America, okay. I'm ready to have that discussion because I agree with you. There are some things that Donald Trump is pushing the envelope in terms of executive authority. I agree with you. But in some areas, I think that envelope needs to be pushed a little bit. And if Congress wants to clap back, they have the ability to do that. And if the judicial branch, an equal and separate branch of government from the executive branch, wants to tell Donald Trump that anything that he is doing is extracurricular to the Constitution of the United States, I'm willing to listen to that too. But that has a process as well. And what you can't do is some little district judge in some faraway part of the country cannot unilaterally declare that all of the country has to abide by a ruling when he only really has authority in his own particular district. That's one thing. These little judges in these smaller areas of the world, these leftist enclaves, declaring that their injunction applies to the entire nation is garbage, bunk. Bunk. But that has a process that moves its way up to the United States Supreme Court, and ultimately the United States Supreme Court decides what is and is not constitutional in terms of the executive branch and what the founding document has to say about it. Toward that end, a 3-judge panel in the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals heard a case last week, and the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals today ruled, wait for it now, liberals are going to lose their minds, that President Donald Trump can, in fact, deploy the Oregon National Guard into the city of Portland, delivering a significant victory to the Trump administration as it continues its effort to send federal forces to, at very least, defend federal property, where state and local authorities have chosen not to. The judges on the 3-member panel ruled 2-1 to authorize Trump's deployment. After considering the record at this preliminary stage, we conclude that it is likely that the president lawfully, underline lawfully, exercised his statutory authority under 10 U.S. Code 12406 or 4006, Paragraph 3, which authorizes the federalization of the National Guard when the president is unable with the regular forces to execute the laws of the United States. If you want to understand this, and if you've not been following along, the president authorized the National Guard, federalized the Oregon National Guard, giving them the ability to protect federal installations. Now, they are not patrolling the streets against the judgment of the Oregon governor, although maybe they should be in Portland. They are protecting federal installations. Literally, they are standing guard at federal facilities that have been under attack by Antifa-type organizations for many, many months. Frankly, many, many years. So you understand that's what they're doing. They're literally protecting those installations and acting upon lawbreakers who are attempting to do something to those installations. That's all. Their very presence in the city of Portland has caused a disturbance. Why? Well, it beats the hell out of me. Well, the move has become something of a political flashpoint. Protesters opposing key policies have clashed with law enforcement. Oregon officials and civil liberties groups say the administration is exaggerating the threat. The Trump administration says we're just trying to protect federal installations and federal property. After a federal judge in Oregon temporarily blocked Trump's attempt to deploy troops in Portland earlier this month. And think about this for a minute. They had this stupid No Kings rally. If Donald Trump really thought he was a king, why wouldn't he tell the troops to go ahead and deploy, even though a judge temporarily blocked him? Instead, they didn't do that. What did they do? They abided by the Constitution, and they used the appropriate remedy by which they appealed to the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals, and they just won in their appeal. The appeal court quickly stayed the lower court's order pending review. The ruling comes as Trump had sought to deploy hundreds of National Guard troops in Democrat-led cities despite opposition from local and state leaders. Senior administration officials argue the deployment is necessary to crack down on what they say is an uptick in violent crime, and it is an uptick in violent crime, particularly on federal installations and federal property. In the meantime, Glenn has a thought on No Kings. Hello, Glenn. How are you? Hey, Glenn.
Yes, sir. How's it going?
I'm doing well, Glenn. I hope you are.
I'm doing well. I just want to speak on a broader point. You had spoke earlier how No Kings was not a grassroots movement, and I went to it. I'm in Nashville. I got up and I thought I was going to go. My friends was like, "Man, there's going to be some crazy stuff recorded." Now I went with that intention. Well, I got my own qualms with King Trump, but there wasn't no crazy stuff going on. And I think the grassroots movement is the left and the right. There's some things that they are starting to agree upon that's going to destroy everything. And for one, that needs to be keep Israel out of our government, keep pedophiles out of Washington, and keep Judaism out of Christianity. And those three things right there are about to turn everything around. And those three things right there is something the left and the right can both agree on. And I think that's what you're seeing because there was more people. It shocked me the amount of people that was there. Wasn't nobody running down the road, the crossing guards. Everyone was following, and it was a lot of older white people. I'm an older white person, and I think it shouldn't. I mean, instead of I know it's not a good look for the Trump camp, but I think for humanity, the Trump camp, the left camp, the right camp. That has to come. That's it. It's got to stop. And I think anybody that supports AIPAC is going to be not voted for in the next election.
What is AIPAC?
It's a corrupt lobbying group for Israel that's not even reports to the FA Safara, and they buy every politician. They bought your boy Jody Barrett already. He's already been called by AIPAC before even anything got done. I think people that you know what it is. I think the people that don't know, for me to
I know but I know very well what it is. I just wanted to know what you thought it was.
I can tell you what they say they are, and I can tell you what they really are. But that would get me
because you know better than them, don't you?
Than who?
AIPAC, the organization.
Do I know better than them?
Well, you said I can tell you what they say they are, and I can tell you what they really are because you know better.
Well, I can tell you what the government and what the media portrays AIPAC to be, and I can tell you what they actually do. Yes, absolutely right.
Tell me what they really are, Glenn.
They really are a super Zionist Jewish group who cares nothing except the interests of Jews, and that's the case. And any government
they're the most powerful organization in America.
They're the most powerful organization in the world. The Jews are. Yeah. The Jewish Zionist Israel are.
Well, okay. And how long has just a few quick questions. I'm not. How long have they been around? AIPAC.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Miriam Adelson. A few years since the early 70s, 60s. I don't know. Maybe since 48. I don't know.
So work with me here, Glenn. So if I agree with you,
now,
so
if I did something wrong, you're waiting on me to slip up. So no, to the cross.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I just want to talk to you.
I can ask you one question. One question, but now finish.
I just want to. Well, hold on a second. So you can ask me anything you want. AIPAC has been around since the 1960s or 70s. You said.
Okay.
I'm just working off your language. And they are the most, and the Jews are the most powerful people in the world, and AIPAC is the most powerful entity in American politics. Do I have it right?
100%. It's the most truest thing you've said all day.
Then why haven't they accomplished their stated goals before now?
What do you think their stated goals are?
No. What do you think their stated goals are?
Okay, well, Larry Ellison just bought TikTok. Every media group is controlled by a Zionist Jew.
Am I controlled by a Zionist Jew?
Absolutely.
I am.
Vanguard owns your radio station.
So
yes,
then
sir.
that means no, they don't. By the way, they have like
they have like a
1% ownership stake in Cumulus, which is worthless. The stock is worthless. What are you talking about?
Do you think Islam is more dangerous than Judaism?
Yes, I do.
In what way?
Their stated religious purpose is to subjugate or kill the infidel.
Who's the infidel?
You are the infidel, Glenn.
No.
Are you a Muslim? Are you a Muslim?
No, but I'm smart.
Then you are an infidel.
And I know how. No,
I'm just answering.
You know what you are. You know what you are.
I'm just answering, Glenn. Glenn. I'm just answering your question. See, okay. you don't say.
Right. Well, I was going to help you. I was going to help you.
If I don't answer your question in the proper fashion, that does not mean that you are right and I'm wrong necessarily. It means that I'm giving you an answer that you don't appreciate, but I'm giving you the answer that I'm giving you.
I understand.
Yeah, good. I'm glad. Why if the Jews control this radio station? Why are you on the air right now?
Why is the sky blue?
Glenn, just think about the question with the brain. Just think about the question with the brain that God gave you, and tell me, why would you be on the air saying what you're saying if the Jews controlled this radio station? Answer the specific question, Glenn.
Because I can do what I want.
No,
Could you answer my call?
No, you're saying the Jews don't allow it. Then why are you here talking?
You're being so irrational.
No, I'm not,
Is that what
man.
you're gonna-
No, I'm being to the point.
Go so extreme, man.
But no, I'm being to the Glenn. Why are you being allowed? If the Jews you said the Jews control this radio station, didn't you?
I said no. They
Did
own
you or
your
did
radio
you not?
Station.
Did
they,
you
they
know?
own
You
your
said,
radio
no,
station.
I said, did the Jews control us? Yes. I said, what? You said
Okay,
Vanguard.
understand.
No, you said it. I'll play
you
the
got
tape
me.
back, Chief.
You got me, Matt.
No,
You got me.
I know I have you because you're full of crap.
Wow. What have I said that's not true?
That the Jews control me.
They control your radio station. They own your radio
No,
station.
then why are you here? Why are you speaking right now if that's true?
Because I want the listeners. Thought about this where you called. Because there's people that's listening that need to get a little objectivity and a little truth. Thank God Chad Benson is still lingering around there, because Trump could do anything, and you're not going to say nothing bad about it. Let's be men about it and be real about it. I'm cool with getting the immigrants out, but let's get the pedophiles out. I'm cool with saying Islam is bad, but let's look up the definition of Judaism, brother. I'm cool with the law. I'm not your enemy. So that's why I called, because people need to hear that.
They need to hear
Have a good
that. Hold on, Glenn. I'm not hanging up on you. You hanging up on me?
I'm here. Not yet.
So they
Go ahead.
need to hear what? What do people need to hear? I want to make
I think the
sure
most
that you
important-
understand
okay.
that your very presence saying what you're saying
Yeah.
is a
okay. The most
denial of your
important thing?
principled point. The very
What is- you
presence
don't
on your.
even-
You're not making any sense.
Point is, No Keys rally, there was good people there.
Okay,
All
good,
day y'all
good.
talk about it was a line of violence. And
No,
and the
whoa,
violence arrested.
who?
And
Who,
then
me?
he started off
Wait,
with
wait.
Hamas. He
Chief,
started off with Hamas. Go ahead.
Glenn, when have I said that it was a violent thing? When? Tell me when. What did I say that?
All day, I've heard your radio
No,
station
but
all
buddy,
day.
you're talking
Chad,
to Matt Murphy,
Chris
MATTMURPHY.
Hand.
I don't have a damn mouse in my pocket, Chief. I speak for me alone. I don't speak for Chad Benson. I don't speak for Chris Hand. I don't speak for anybody else on this radio station.
So the tone of your station here lately is not the left. It's very, very violent.
No,
Right?
I don't meet with any other host of this radio station to compare
Do you
notes
feel
about how
like
we
the
present our.
left is really violent?
The violence on the left has ticked up considerably since Donald Trump came
Listen,
into political power.
I'm on the right, bro. I'm on the right. I'm a conservative. And these people that's in Portland and stuff, these are gay people and trannies just running around with rainbow flags.
Wait, so you don't believe? So you no, but see, you don't believe that it's leftist violence. That anytime we present leftist violence, you tell me that it's the Jews, right? So if I
No,
told
I
you,
don't. No, I don't.
who killed
I've never
Charlie?
had that
Who killed
conversation
Charlie
with you.
Kirk? Glenn?
I mean, you know,
Who killed? Who killed?
Glenn?
Glenn, answer the question. Who killed Charlie
I can
Kirk?
tell you-
Was it a crazy
Not-
leftist?
Not Tyler Robinson.
See.
And when that comes out, will you give me a 30-minute segment on your show each week?
Hell
When that
no,
comes out,
Glenn.
it's true?
No, I'm not giving you anything.
Okay.
I'm not, what are you
I
talking
love you,
about?
man.
What are you talking about? I'm not giving you anything.
All right, I got you, brother. Israel killed him, bro. Give me a hang up. Tell me I'm stupid. But yeah, just
Glenn,
look,
Glenn,
everyone go
I'm
look
not,
up Judaism
Glenn,
tonight.
I'm not
If
hanging
you
up.
love Jesus
Glenn,
Christ,
I'm not hanging
go
up.
ahead.
I'm not hanging up on you. I'm not hanging up on you. I'm letting you hang yourself.
I get it. But yeah, no, I appreciate the time, and I just hope I hope people listen, and I hope just go look it up. Just go get off Fox News and Newsmax.
Tell me,
everybody,
tell me
and
one
look
thing.
up Judaism.
Just tell me one thing, Glenn. Tell me one thing.
Yes, sir.
Tell me
Yes, sir.
one Jewish friend that you have.
Jesus Christ.
Good answer. Good answer. 26 after the hour in Super Talk. All right, we'll get to your calls momentarily. A little bit of a reaction to our good friend Glenn calling up and explaining to us that who controls us, and that's all well and good. 38 minutes after the hour, we'll suspend that conversation and talk about happier things, like an event that I was proud to be a part of last evening, and we invited kind of the father of the feast to be in studio with us to talk about some of the discussion that we had last evening and to talk about what we have going on in 2026 right here in the state of Tennessee with regard to the General Assembly. He is our good friend, Senate Majority Leader Jack Johnson. He joins us in studio. Jack, hello.
Long time no see.
I know. What a great event last night. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of it.
Well, thank you for being a part of it. We were thrilled. We had a massive crowd, broke all records. I've been doing this event for a while, and it's hard to know. People say, how many people did you have? And it's hard to count because you sell a certain number of tickets and some people come at the door. And then, of course, you've comped some folks. But it was a massive crowd, and I'm very grateful that you were there to be our master of ceremonies.
Well, it was good to see all of the assembled folks. I mean, a lot of political figures in the same room. How in the world can you herd all of all those cats, Jack? I mean,
it is a bit of a scheduling that we start working on this probably 6 months ago, and kind of reach out to some folks. Hey, would you be willing to come and be a part of this year's event? And they say, yeah, I would love to do it. Well, then you got to start the scheduling thing, and you got to book the room. But we had Senator Marsha Blackburn, Senator Bill Hagerty, Robbie Starbuck, who is a great friend, Congressman Tim Burchett, who has really become a bit of a national figure there. I was amused and happily amused at how many people were like, oh, I got to meet Tim Burchett. I got to get a selfie with Tim Burchett. He's like the selfie king on social media.
He goes into the Lion's Den on CNN a lot, and I absolutely love it. I love watching.
I love what he said on the stage last night. He said, he said he was talking to President Trump, and Trump said, Tim, I like it every time you go on CNN. Every time you're on there, someone gets fired.
I love it. Well, and a lot of state and local officials coming out, and not only to obviously support you, but there seemed to be somewhat of a celebratory mood, I think, for the state of Tennessee, certainly, but for the United States of America. I think the mood, and I tried to contrast the mood between the Saturday No Kings rally
right.
and the mood in the room last evening. I don't know, because I could not make last year's event. I don't know if there was, if there was trepidation, if it was, kind of uneasiness about the direction of the country, but there was a good feeling in the room last night.
I had several people say there was a lot of positive energy in the room, and I think that was the case. We had the gentleman I hope is our next congressman, would be my next congressman, Matt Van Epps, the Republican nominee for the 7th District. He was there, did a great job. And yeah, it was hopeful. It was optimistic, and got to talk a lot about some of the significant successes Tennessee has had in recent years and kind of where we stand as a state and really a conservative leader in the nation, I believe. And then hearing from Senator Blackburn, Senator Hagerty, Congressman Burchett about, some of the great things going on in Washington. And there's some tough battles going on up there. But I think with President Trump in office, we all have a great spirit of optimism.
Well, I mean, and certainly here in the state of Tennessee, I guess you would say some work to be done. And Donald Trump is assisting us in that regard. And I'm curious your thoughts. I asked several of the people in that room last night their thoughts on what's going on in Memphis. Senate Majority Leader, you might have a little bit of say in this in terms of some of the particulars about what the state allows the state to do in some of these local communities. I'm sure you're supportive of what we see happening.
Oh, absolutely, and I believe you've had Senator Brent Taylor on. So Senator Taylor is a great friend. He's my colleague. He represents Shelby County. He is the only full Republican Senate seat in Shelby County. There's 3 full Democratic seats. There are seats that are held by Democrats. But Senator Taylor has become a real voice for change in Shelby County and really drawing a lot of attention to the crime issue down there. He has a phrase, "Make Memphis Matter." And he always clarifies that's MATTER, not MADDER. So he's done a lot of really, really important work there, working with the administration to get additional troopers, TBI, and then obviously now with President Trump and the National Guard. But I was actually at an event in Memphis with Senator Blackburn in her gubernatorial campaign a few nights ago, and I kind of had the same conversation with a lot of people, and there's overwhelming spirit of optimism. People are feeling safe about going downtown, going to restaurants and some things. And how sad it is that there are folks that live in Memphis, which is a once great city, could be a great city again. And I think we're heading in that direction, but there's people afraid to leave their home at night.
I know I'm guilty over the last 4 years that I've been in Tennessee of telling Tennessee people what they already know, but I find these things out in real time, right? And you look at the history of Memphis and Nashville, and as you well know, Jack, there was a time where there was a real question as to which would be the leader of the state. Now, obviously, Nashville has the state capital and enjoys that aspect of state government, but I mean, Memphis, the bones are so great, and I'm not to say that there aren't great aspects of Memphis today. There certainly are, But the possibility of rebuilding that, and as Senator Taylor says, make Memphis matter, it all starts with crime and education.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And I noticed that Senator Blackburn, in her effort to become the next governor of the state, says that she wants to focus on those areas of education. The Senate and the House have already done a little bit of their part in terms of the scholarship fund that you guys saw through last year. This year, it's my understanding, and I talked to your colleague in the House, Cameron Sexton already says that the plan is to expand it. Are you in favor of this? And, I mean, do you concur with him on that?
I am. You know, we had in the first 24 hours that applications could be submitted. We had 38,000 applications. We created 20,000 scholarships. So the demand is clearly there. The legislation we passed has an automatic trigger in it that if 75% of the scholarships are utilized, then we increase it by 5,000. Well, we hit 100,000, or rather 100%. I'm having trouble with my numbers today. We hit the full 20,000, 100% of the scholarships got utilized. So that 5,000 increase will automatically trigger. Some conversations of, and by the way, that's subject to appropriation. The General Assembly has to agree to pay for those. But there's some conversation about possibly doing more, and but clearly the demand is there, and we need to be getting kids into schools that are best suited for their needs.
And nothing else has to happen except for the appropriation, if
That's
I understand
correct. For the
correctly.
5,000 increase. Right.
Okay, sure. So, and would you foresee that 5,000 is a cap? So you can only go up by 5,000?
Well, it just is 5,000. So if you hit 75% utilization, then it increases by 5,000, and then the General Assembly has to decide to pay for that. Certainly, the General Assembly could decide to do none, not pay for any, or we could agree to fund more and increase it by a larger amount. So.
What else? I mean, I would expect here. I was surprised. I looked down at my notes, and it's already October 20th. I mean, time is just flying. The fall's flying by. And I would expect that in leadership in the Senate and the House, you're already kind of planning the next General Assembly. Would I be correct in the assumption?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's we pretty much start working on the next one as soon as we finish the one we're in. And even though we're only in session for about three and a half months out of the year, there's obviously a lot of work that goes into leading up to the next session.
In an election season, does that alter the calendar for the General Assembly at all, or do you just
Not automatically. There might be a bit more of a spirit of let's get in, let's get done. So we can get home. But we need to be there as long as it takes to get the people's work done, and that's typically around the end of April, early May, regardless of whether it's an election year or not.
What is on your plate for this next General Assembly?
Biggest thing I'm concerned about, but also optimistic about. It gets back to what's happening in Washington. This president, with a Congress that is hopefully aligned with him, is trying to shrink the federal government, and it is a very 30,000 feet. But just take the U.S. Department of Education and President Trump's efforts to abolish that. And I believe Senator Blackburn said that she believes that will be done by the end of the year, which is wonderful. The federal government should not have a Department of Education. So that's one example. I could give you others, particularly in healthcare relative to Medicaid, where they are trying to get power and influence back to the states, which is where it belongs. That's where the framers wanted it to be. I think most of your listeners would probably agree with that. The federal government is far too big, expansive, much more so than the framers wanted it to be. But that's going to create responsibility for us to figure out, and whether it's a loss of funding because the federal government shouldn't be funding, and we have to make decisions about whether we want to backfill that with state dollars, or if it's just a redirection of that funding. So the big, beautiful bill, we're still kind of going through some of the implications of that, but there's going to be some things that affect the state. And I know Governor Lee and his team are looking hard into that. And I think most of it is going to be very positive, but there may be some pain points there as well, some tough decisions for us to make, and that's our job.
Have you been paying attention? I know that you noticed the situation that went over at the munitions plant, the horrible explosion. 16 people have passed, and there are now some questions about some of the past issues that happened at that plant. And look, you and I are both small government guys, right? I mean, you don't want government to intervene in the free market unless necessary, but when something like that occurs, I mean, obviously the first reaction is to think about the family members, think about those impacted, those affected, and those who passed away. But then at some point, someone in your position has to say, okay, we need to get all of this information. I mean, are we still in the information gathering stage to try to figure out what exactly happened there, and are there more things that need to be in place to prevent future situations?
Yeah, so the answer to the first question is yes. I think we're still in the phase where law enforcement, the FBI, TBI, ATF, whoever's involved in investigating that, right, and collecting the evidence so we can find out what happened. And we owe that to the families. I think the families and those who lost their lives, we need answers. We need to know what transpired here and what went wrong, because clearly something went catastrophically wrong. So once we get that information, then yes, there are regulatory aspects for that. Well, a lot of different business activity, but yeah, that's anytime you have something that horrific and tragic, I think you should stop and take a look. And once we know what happened, we'll be in a better position to determine if the changes need to be made.
You know, I made the comment last night when in my opening remarks at your great event, and I always screw it up. Let me see if I can get it right. Boots and Jeans Barbecue and Beans?
You're the man.
I think I nailed it. 19th annual. So I made the point that, you know, I know that people don't like hearing from people who haven't been around Tennessee very long, but I like to remind them of how wonderful they have it.
You've been here 4 years?
You've been
here a
now.
long time compared to a lot of the folks.
Well, I mean, I like to say I've been here 4 years, so give me about another 10 or 11 years and I'll be considered a Tennessee guy. But, you know, we got it pretty good in the state of Tennessee, but that doesn't always mean that we can't make it better. And I've heard some folks talking, particularly in Davidson County, about property taxes, especially since the recent, you know, reassessment, readjustment, and then rate increase. Yes. And that's what happens.
That's
and people
right. That's right.
On the state level, and I want you to explain, because, you know, folks just see the amount of money go up and they think, oh, my goodness, look at what they've done to us. But the state requires, what was it called, zero base or leveling? Leveling is a good way to think about it. It's called the certified tax rate. I think I have the terminology right. And that is state law. So a local jurisdiction and the property assessor can go in and do a reappraisal and say, okay, your house went up $100,000 in value or whatever. But then that jurisdiction has to lower the rate so that the net amount that you're paying is the same. Mm-hmm. So your rate goes down, but the price value of your house on the assessment rolls went up, but you're still paying the same amount of property tax. And it takes an affirmative vote of that governing body to raise the rate. And the rate might even still be lower than it was before, but you're paying more because the rate is being assessed to a higher value home. And so then the Davidson County folks asked the question, is there anything, I mean, and I understand local rule, and if the answer is just one that disappoints them, it is what it is, but is there anything more the state can do to help assist those in Davidson County that feel like that they've been, I mean, there's no better way of putting it, that they've been screwed here.
Yeah.
And they're having to make very difficult decisions. I mean, a mutual good friend, Pamela Furr, lives in Davidson County, has decided to put her home on the market because of the amount of money that's coming out of her pocket for things like property taxes.
Yeah, so absolutely the state does have the authority. And in fact, Tennessee is one of a few states, we're in the minority of states, that does not have some type of guardrails in terms of how much property taxes can be raised in a given year. And we've had that conversation. I think we're going to continue to, and I think it will be something we look at in the coming jurisdiction. You hit the nail on the head, though. I mean, the people deciding to raise those taxes are the council members who were elected by the residents of that county. So you're the ones electing these people, and then they vote to raise your property taxes. So I am keeping an open mind, and there are some of my colleagues that are pretty strong advocates that we need to look at some type of limitation on how much a jurisdiction can raise taxes in a given year, because we know under Mayor Cooper, it was 30-some-odd% in 1 year. Mm-hmm. That's a lot.
That's a lot of money.
Even if they hadn't been raised in the last however many years, you can still amortize that or annualize that, and it's still almost double-digit increases, even if you broke it down year by year, and that's excessive. And at some point, we as the state do have the responsibility to set those guardrails for local governments. that even if the citizens of that community vote people in that raise taxes that much, at some point it becomes detrimental to the state, and that is our responsibility. So the answer is yes, it's going to be on our plate.
I want to spend the last 30 seconds or 1 minute that we have left, Jack, to congratulate you not only on a great event last night, but congratulations on your anniversary.
Yeah, how about that?
That was the lead.
Well, I said that from the stage, and it's a true story. When we started looking at dates and we kind of settled on one, and they said October 19th works for this person and this person, the room's available, blah, 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 blah. And so I went home and told my wife, I've got a great idea for our anniversary, honey. Let's get 800,000 of our closest friends and have a big party at the factory. She said, you said you'd barbecue on our anniversary, didn't you? That's when you're going to do your event. She busted me right away.
Well, at least he danced with it.
I did dance, and I had a special banner made. My wife is incredible. She is a very supportive. Now, next year's our 30th, and I'm probably going to pay for having an event on it. Next year, 30th, we're probably going to do something.
Probably want to work out something different.
Pretty special and probably pretty expensive, but she's worth every penny of it.
Well, thank you for being a friend of the show. Thank you for being a friend of Tennessee. And we value you in the state Senate more than we can say, and we appreciate you.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate you.
There's Senator Jack Johnson joining us for a few good moments. We'll get back to calls momentarily. It's 55 after the hour.